Have you ever prayed but never got an answer, and wondered if God was really there? Did you feel all hope was gone, but in His time He came along and answered the prayer you thought was gone? There is no prayer too small, for God hears them all. The answer may not be just what you want, but He always knows what's right, even when we think it's wrong. Just remember, there is no prayer too small. I have read, if you will ask, you shall receive. No matter what it is, I still believe. There is no prayer too small, and even when we fall, He gives us just exactly what we need. There is no prayer too small, for God hears them all. The answer may not be just what you want, but He always knows what's right, even when we think it's wrong. Just remember, there is no prayer too small. No prayer too small. He always knows what's right. God hears them all. There is no prayer too small. My God hears them all. The answer may not be just what you want, but He always knows what's right, even when we think it's wrong. Just remember, there is no prayer too small. No prayer too small. No prayer too small. God hears them all.
Hello, my name is Ralf Friedrichs. I'm an addiction recovery coach and the host of the Take Your Life Back Today show. As an addiction recovery coach, I want to share something with you, and let me be crystal clear to leave an everlasting impact upon you. Just imagine being buried alive. You're in a coffin, but you know you're not dead. You don't know how to get out of that coffin. You tried lifting the lid, but the enormous weight upon the lid prevents you from getting out. You try banging on the lid to unsettle the dirt. Maybe somebody will notice and start digging their way down towards you. This is what it's like to find yourself at the lowest point of alcohol and drug addiction. You know you need help. You know you can't do it on your own, but you don't know where to turn. In reality, there are people standing by your grave. You just didn't know that. You just thought you're going to die. Usually, though, you don't think about death when you're habitually abusing drugs and alcohol. In order to feed an addiction, you have to be great at repressing the fear of death. I often ask you, my audience, did it ever cross your mind while you're abusing drugs and alcohol that maybe, just maybe, you might overdose and take something away that meant so much to maybe not even you, but to so many other people that love and care for you most? People like your mother, your father, your husband, your wife, your brother, your sister, your children, and your grandchildren. With this, let me leave one last thought. Don't be like the person I just spoke about that went to their grave without seeking help. Pick up the phone and call me at 844-405-HELP. I promise I'll help you take your life back, for your life is gone. People like Larry Geis, addiction recovery coach, life coach, over 30 years experience. You can call me at 516-458-2741 or go to www.odysseyconsultant.org. Larry Geis and I always tell people like you, doesn't matter where you came from, it doesn't matter where you've been. What matters is that you're here looking for a better tomorrow. Give Larry a call at 516-458-2741. Don't forget to take your slippers off at night before you go to bed. And instead of leaving them by the edge of your bed, put them directly under your bed, about halfway under your bed. That way in the morning, when you wake up, you're forced to go on your knees and look for those slippers. While you're on your knees, utilize a thing I called Knee-mail, K-N-E-E-mail. That's your personal chat line between you and God. Thank God for a home, clothing, food, relationship, health. Ask God for guidance and direction, forgiveness and mercy. Do this every night. Put your slippers under the bed, and every morning retrieve those slippers and have your personal chat line with God. Speak from the heart, and you will start seeing your life changing. Do it starting tomorrow. Knee-mail, K-N-E-E-mail. That's your personal power prayer between you and God. 6 lessons that I have learned from hitting rock bottom. Sometimes you need to hit rock bottom in order to reflect and rebuild yourself. Hitting rock bottom is a wake-up call that something you're doing in your life is not good for you. It's a sign that you need to stop, breathe, and make some serious changes. Years ago, that was me. I got trapped in a very toxic, self-destructive cycle, and it was definitely one of the most confusing couple of years of my life. But I took the steps to find the courage, the strength, to break that cycle and let myself heal, and now I have never felt stronger and more positive in my entire life. I was struggling with having the strength to let go of very toxic lifestyle. Dealing with the back and forth of toxic lifestyle bruised my self-worth, and my anxiety started to build and build. I would tell myself and my friends that I was done with it, but would find myself being pulled right back into the acts of drinking. Every time I got sucked back in, I felt intense feelings about guilt, shame, self-hatred for not having enough strength to do what I wanted to do, which was to be sober. I didn't understand why I couldn't let go of something that was so bad for me, and why I didn't want to seek help. It was like a really nasty habit I couldn't kick. On top of this, I started to feel like I was losing sight of myself and was getting trapped in this flood of overwhelming anxiety. I became unable to make any decisions. I became impulsive, reckless, and physical anxiety symptoms came. A panic attack, tightening of the throat. My whole body started to feel weighed down and tight, and my head hurt from all the overthinking and self-diagnosis. I was literally driving myself insane, and everyone I was close to knew I was seriously struggling. Then one day, I hit rock bottom. I had a panic attack, which I've only really ever had once I was a lot younger. I ended up feeling and not remembering things, and it was just a really bad day, the day I hit rock bottom. I just felt completely and totally lost. And that is when I made the best decision I ever made in my life. I decided, with the support of my family, to take the risk of stopping my life for a bit so that I could get healthy again. I took the time, started going to AA, and after about 4 AA meetings, started doing my own rehab, and here I am years later, feeling better, looking better, and people around me know I'm doing better. I've never worked harder in my life than I did from that point on. Each and every day I do these videos. Each and every day I work on my websites, my pages. Each and every day I serve you because it helps me. I just wanted more than anything to be happy again, and I put into focus on healing myself back in 2013. And from that point on, that's all I did. All in the last 3.5 years, I have conquered so many new things. As I stated, to focusing on fixing myself, as I started to focus and fix myself, I started to feel more positive and happy, and all the anxiety and noise in my head started to fade away. I was able to rebuild myself into a much stronger, happier person than I came to realize. Now, I told you I had 6. Number 1, I need to distance myself from certain negative people. I had to do that. I was so done being around people who constantly complain about their friends in any situation in their life. All that does is show unhappy they were with themselves, and it's just too much negativity to be around. I understand we all need to vent sometimes, but you don't need to complain about your so-called friends every second of every day about every single person. When people judge another, they are defining themselves. That is true. Number 2, I need to stop trying to get everyone's approval. I have learned that the only approval I need is my own approval and the approval of God. Nobody likes every single person. It's unrealistic to expect, and it's not even healthy. If someone doesn't like me, that is their problem. It's the people that I like and accept me that I care about most in life. I don't need to please the people all the time. Number 3, I have to have boundaries and remember my self-worth. I know I deserve a lot more than what I was putting up with, and I have boundaries so that I know what is wrong and what is right. Number 4, I need to remember to not care what other people think. I am sharing this video in order to help others and give them the encouragement they might need. So many people asked me why I randomly left all that drinking behind, and I truly wanted to tell them is to live, to breathe, to be around the family and the people I love. But it's so much easier just to tell my story here in full that I've done now for the last 3.5 years. I am not afraid of being judged anymore because I feel better than ever, and I am very transparent. Number 5, I need to trust myself to go with my gut feeling. My gut feeling is always the right feeling. So from now on, I am going with my gut feeling. And number 6 is I'm my own independent person. All these realizations have helped me become so much stronger than I can ever have thought. My self-confidence, my self-worth is back. I can't remember the last time I felt so positive and so motivated than in the last 3.5 years. I was on the wrong path, but now I have picked myself up, and I am exactly where I am supposed to be with the grace of God. Growing up and dealing with what life throws at you can be a really hard thing sometimes, folks, but if you really want to be the best person you can be, you can definitely do it. You have to put your mind to it. You have to ask God for guidance and directions. It's the hard things in life that help you figure out where you are and what you want to do and where you want to go in life. And please turn to God for any questions you have about your life, because God is the only person that can help and guide and direct you. And I hope you enjoyed this segment, and may God bless you.
Have you ever prayed but never got an and wondered if God was really there? Did you feel all hope was gone, but in His time He came along and answered the prayer you thought was gone? There is no prayer too small, for God hears them all. The answer may not be just what you want, but He always knows what's right, even when we think it's wrong. Just remember, there is no prayer too small. I have read if you will ask, you shall receive. No matter what it is, I still believe. There is no prayer too small, and even when we fall, He gives us just exactly what we need.